Hello friends, looking at current affairs for 17th June. The news items picked up from the Hindu newspaper are these 11. We'll look at them in detail. The first one, Aadhaar must for bank accounts. So now government has come up with a new notification amending Prevention of Money Laundering, Maintenance of Records Rules 2005. So these rules have been amended through this notification and now it has been made mandatory to provide Aadhaar along with PAN for opening a bank account. So those who are eligible for Aadhaar will have to provide Aadhaar number along with PAN. Plus also if you are having a transaction of rupees 50,000 or more, then you have to provide Aadhaar. And also for international money transfer operations. So these are the provisions. Even if the amount is less than 50,000, but there are single transactions or even several transactions that appear to be connected, then your Aadhaar number will have to be provided for. So this is the new notification coming forth. It has also tightened norms for small accounts. So small accounts which can be opened without officially valid KYC documents, know your customer documents. For small accounts also, it has been mandated now that it can be opened only on in those bank branches which have core banking solutions or where it can be manually monitored that foreign remittances are not credited to the small accounts and they do not reach the stipulated limits for monthly and annual aggregate transactions. So this balance should not be breached. This has to be looked into if core banking solutions are there or should be manually monitored. So this is the provision coming forth now. Also you should know the context of this is that Supreme Court on 9th June had said that in its case which is going on before the Supreme Court on linking Aadhaar with PAN. So for that it has stated, this is the provision which the government has brought out in the Finance Act of 2017. So PAN and Aadhaar linkage have been made mandatory. The Supreme Court stated that this is upheld. PAN and Aadhaar can be linked, but the second part of this notification of this provision in the Finance Act with respect to this stated that if the PAN and Aadhaar are not linked, then those PAN cards would become invalid with effect from 1st July. So this is the deadline given in this Finance Act 2017. So the Supreme Court had upheld only one part, that PAN and Aadhaar linkage can be made a provision for the government can have such a notification that both should be linked, but those who are not having it linked cannot have their PAN cards invalidated. So this was the ruling as such. So this is the detail provided here about the present notification. So for 50,000 above, so this is with effect from June 1. So this was a notification dated 1st June, but it has come forth now. It has been published now. So because the case was going on before the Supreme Court, still it is criticized that Supreme Court has not completely upheld that PAN Aadhaar linkage can be made mandatory. Now again Aadhaar is being made mandatory for bank accounts. So this is it. So because if for opening a bank account you require to provide PAN also, Aadhaar also, then it is anyway indirectly PAN Aadhaar is linked. Right? Then next is Swiss ratify Pact on Information Sharing. So Switzerland has ratified AEOI, Automatic Exchange of Financial Account Information. So this has been ratified with India and 40 other jurisdictions. So this will be automatic sharing of details on financial transactions, tax related information, means even black money related cases would be shared as such automatically. So this is also taking a cue from FATCA, which is of US law. So US FATCA, Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act. So this is what USA had brought forth. So in this, automatic exchange of information should take place on taxation related matters of US nationals. So if US nationals have a bank account in any other country, any other jurisdiction, and USA signs these bilateral agreements with those countries, then those countries have to automatically provide all the details of such accounts to the US authorities. So that is FATCA. So on the same lines, even AEOI has been developed. So that is FATCA is with respect to USA only. USA signs this with various countries. Even USA and India have signed it. Also reciprocity is inherent in it. And here also, this is also automatic exchange of financial account information which Switzerland and India have signed. So this and other countries also have signed this. So this is part of OECD, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. So here it is shown how this takes into effect. So automatic exchange of information, how it works. So you can see country A and country B. If these are the two countries having this automatic exchange provision. So what happens is if there is a taxpayer in country A and he has a bank account in country B, means he is liable to pay taxes here. but he has a bank account in this other country, in another jurisdiction. Then what happens is this bank in country B discloses the financial account data to authorities in country B. So financial authorities know about all these foreign accounts, foreign taxpayers accounts, and this information is automatically forwarded to authorities in country A. So authorities on country A then can examine financial account data of this person, foreign accounts which he has. So this is the whole thing about it. The information which is exchanged, you can see, is account number, the name, address, date of birth, tax identification number, interest, dividends received, receipts from insurance policies, credit balances, proceeds from sale of financial assets, etc. So this is all shared. And this is regarding FATCA of USA. So FATCA is of USA and Common Reporting System of AEOI is of OECD and G20 countries. Also, not just this, it has been extended. These countries can have such Common Reporting System agreements with any other country. So it's open. So here you can see FATCA, India and USA also signed this agreement. FATCA came into force in India in 2015 itself. And its reporting, first reporting has also started. Even Common Reporting System under AEOI has also been initiated. So you can see first reporting under this has also started in May 2017. Then next is Puducherry government seeks more powers. So the Puducherry, which is a union territory, just like Delhi, well, Delhi though it's a national capital territory too, but these two union territories out of the 7 union territories of India are special because they have their own legislative body too. So there's a legislative assembly. Delhi has a legislative assembly, and even Puducherry, just like states. Other union territories are directly administered by the central government. But then for these two union territories too, there's a lieutenant governor. The way in states also you have governor. So lieutenant governor in Puducherry is Ms. Kiran Bedi. And the thing is that here the government is ruled by Congress, the Congress government in power, and it is seen that rift between the two executive powers has resulted in troubles because as such union territories do not have complete powers where states function. They are directly administered by the center. So lieutenant governors here have more powers. So now the Puducherry government has reached out to the central government and passed a resolution asking it to make necessary amendments in the Union Territories Act to give more powers to the elected government here. Because these are the two union territories which have an elected government too. So this is the resolution put forth. Because Lieutenant Governor here, she has asserted quite often that she is the real administrator and all files have to be sent to her for approval. And the government here, the Congress government in Puducherry, claims that they are not able to function effectively. Even schemes are blocked, files are blocked, even welfare programs are blocked, and attempts are made to tarnish the government's image. So this is an issue in governance. Then next is ISRO set to launch backup satellite. So we have already discussed about NAVIC, which is Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System. So this satellite system is a constellation of 7 satellites. So it's a regional navigation system, the counterpart to GPS. The Global Positioning System, GPS, is owned by US. Though it is open and can be used by all, but it can anytime be restricted as well. So India has developed its own regional navigation satellite system. This is a 7 satellite constellation, but in the first of the satellites in orbit. So there are all 7 satellites are in orbit now, but then the first of them, IRNSS 1A, has resulted into problem because these navigation satellite systems will require atomic clocks. So there are these rubidium clocks which are there on these satellites. Each satellite has 3 rubidium atomic clocks to have precision timing, because that is very, very important for GPS, Global Positioning System. So these, in the first of the satellites, these 3 rubidium atomic clocks have stopped functioning. So ISRO was trying to revive them, but it has failed to revive them. So now, after it has been confirmed in Jan 2017 that they have stopped functioning, now ISRO is planning to launch a backup satellite. So IRNSS 1H. So 1 to G are the 7 satellites already launched, but since IRNSS 1A is not functioning, IRNSS 1A even mapping services, and will have also military applications. So this is there. And it is having a range of 1,500 kilometers beyond the border of India. So that it will provide regional navigation. So it will be provided to other nations also in the adjoining region. The facility can be made available. And the such navigation satellite systems which are there in place from various countries are mentioned here, you can see. So GPS is of USA. It's a constellation of 31 satellites and its coverage is global. So first satellite in this system was launched in 1978. So that is there. Precision is 5 meters. Then GLONASS, this is of Russia, constellation of 24 satellites, again of global coverage. First satellite launched in 1982. Precision is 5 meter to 10 meters. Then another one is Galileo. This is of European Union. It's a constellation of 40 satellites. First satellite was launched in 2011. Again, it has a global coverage and it has a precision of 1 meter for public and 1 centimeter for military applications. Then BEDO is of China. So this has 2 separate satellite constellations which are in place. So limited test system and full-scale global navigation system. So this also first satellite, it's a constellation of 35 satellites. First launch was in 2000, again of global coverage and precision of 10 meter for public and 10 centimeter for military. So it has military applications. That is why India also initiated this. India's IRNSS, which has after the 7th satellite was launched, renamed Navik also. So this is first satellite launched in 2013 and number of satellites in orbit are 7. And it has precision of 20 meter for civilian purposes and 10 meter for military purposes. Then the next news item is alarming rise in farm suicides in 7 Punjab districts. So even in Punjab, a study has shown that farmer suicides are increasing. So over a period of time, farmer suicides have increased. The complete statistics is shown that the overwhelming cause of these suicides are mounting death. And majority of these farmers are small and marginal farmers, and also belonging to the young and middle age groups. So this is a study showing here. The next is US issues Zika advisory in India. So Zika virus case had been detected in India, though it was not brought out in the open. It came out in the open only after World Health Organization reclassified India. So India was under category 4 countries, means of not of concern with respect to Zika. But then in May 2017, we saw World Health Organization placed India in category 2 for Zika risk. So that is why this is category 2 means we are at a second highest risk on a 4-point scale. So this category 2 also includes Zika hotspot Brazil. Brazil is also in category 2. India has also now been placed in category 2. So USA has also issued advisory to its civilians and people who are visiting India, and specifically for the pregnant women, they should delay their visits, because it has been seen in Brazil too that during pregnancy, women who contract Zika virus infection, the children, the fetus develops microcephaly. So this is a condition associated with Zika in which the brain size is actually the normal head size is it's less than the normal head size, and this results in impaired brain development. So these microcephaly cases are a huge concern with respect to Zika. And this is spread through Aedes mosquito, Aedes aegypti mosquito, which also transmits dengue and chikungunya. So these 3 cases of Zika virus we have already discussed in news were reported from Ahmedabad between November 2016 and Feb 2017. But they were not brought out in public until May. And that through World Health Organization, after that government accepted that yes, these cases outbreak had taken place, but they are controlled and we do not wanted to have a panic. And also another case was that Vibrant Gujarat Summit was going on in Gujarat at that time. So it happened in Ahmedabad in Gujarat only. So it was kept under wraps. Then next is Finland assessing basic income schemes impact. So Finland is a country where universal basic income scheme had been put into effect on a trial basis. So 2,000 unemployed people have been selected and they are paid 650 euros a month. And this will be done for 2 years. So this is the universal basic income experiment taking place. It started in Jan 2017. So now intermediary data is also being collected here and they are assessing its impact. So what is expected? Why was this put forth to? Because the officials here say that after globalization, in this globalization era, the work environment is also changing and many people are also self-employed. So in those cases, it becomes difficult to provide welfare measures for them. So for self-employed people, pensions and other schemes provisions cannot be provided for. Otherwise, deductions from salaries are done. So these welfare benefits, how can they be provided? So that is why this provision is made, that a universal basic income would be provided for. So there is also a provision here, because this is similar, this can be called similar to unemployment allowance. If government is paying you regularly to unemployed people, and that would be same as unemployment allowance, but this is not, because it says that here there's no condition placed. They would be provided unconditionally. This UBI would be provided to them irrespective of their picking up a job also. So then a study is being done about how does it affect them, how is labor behavior affected, because they are already being paid. So then they would not be taking up a job. Generally, when unemployment allowance is given, then people do not pick up a job which is paying lower than the sum which they get as an unemployed. But then this is additional. When with employment, whatever they earn would be in addition to this UIB. So universal basic income, UBI. So this is a study being done in Finland. So also in India, Economic Survey 2016-17 had recommended universal basic income, but the finance minister has recently also, we have discussed, he stated that this proposal is not politically feasible. So there are concerns with respect to universal basic income too, because what would result is people would become lazy, they won't want to work. If you're paying them monthly, then why would they work and earn? That is there. Then people may spend it on anything. You're giving them money in their hands, so they can spend it on alcohol, drugs. So this is there. Something is given for nothing. So it doesn't sound right, and it breeds dependency. Then people will stay dependent on the government. That government will make provision. That is there. Then that's why we can't have this universal basic income, because it will cost too much. So it will be provided to all, because irrespective of whether you're earning or not earning, everybody should be provided for. So though there will be some cutoffs, it cannot be feasible in the country, but even if there are beneficiaries decided and then it would be provided, still the cost in India would be too high. It can be inflationary, because it will be so much money in the hands of the people, then prices would also go increase. When there is a lot of money, then prices go high. So it can have inflationary consequences. Also, geographic cost differences are there. Means a person living in urban area, a person living in rural area, a person living somewhere else. So in those cases also, in urban areas, within urban areas, to a person living in Mumbai, Delhi, or a person living in some other urban city. No, so there also the price variation is there. Cities are costly. So then this geographical cost differences are also there. So if same amount is given in all places, it will not suffice to all. Then people won't do unattractive but necessary jobs. So for those jobs, there will be no people ready to take them up. Then another, so that's why we can't do it. And we won't do it because it's a fringe idea yet. It has not been fully developed. We are seeing Finland is conducting a study. An experiment is being done here on universal basic income. Then there's no political support to it. And also there are too many vested interests in bringing in this. Also it is stated that if government provides this, of course, it will replace all the welfare schemes. So under schemes which the government brings in for welfare, social welfare, there is an obligation on the government to make provisions for this. But now once it is given a certain amount of money to the people, there is no obligation on the government. So that aspect is also there. So that has to be looked into. It has to be carefully studied, and only then such an idea can be put into effect. So there are many points against it actually. Then next is Bhushan SR Steel among 12 firms listed. So we had already discussed this in news that RBI has selected 12 non-performing assets, 12 defaulters, and their names have been given to leaders of the consortium of banks who have lent to them. And these are non-performing assets. So each of them is having around 5,000 crore plus loans, more than 5,000 crore. So these loans, NPAs of these 12 totally account for 25% of total NPAs in the banking system in India. So it's about 7 lakh crore NPA which these 12 entities are having altogether. So these 12 defaulters have to be now going before the National Company Law Tribunal. So this is under the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code of 2016. So NCLT will appoint insolvency resolution professionals who will take over the management of the company after the case is admitted. So then they will look into, they will have 180 days to come up with a resolution plan. So if a resolution plan comes forth, is accepted to all the lenders, then this will be put into effect. And if not, then the company will have to go into liquidation. So this is the provision under Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code of 2016. So it has to be hastened now. Within 180 days, steps have to be taken. A 90-day extension can be given by NCLT, National Company Law Tribunal, based on particular conditions in some special cases. So this is there. So this RBI's internal advisory committee had decided on these 12 defaulters who have to be taken on a priority for resolution. Also 500 more stressed exposures in the banking system have been recognized, and they will also be focused on now. This is there. So now swift action would be taken. The names have not been put forth by RBI, because the defaulters loans names have not been come forth, but then once they have been communicated to the bank, so now these names are coming forth and they have been listed here. You can see some of them: SR Steel, Bhushan Steel, Alok Industries, Jyoti Structures, Electro Steel Steels. So these are the names: ABG, Shipcard, Lanco Infratech. You don't need to remember these names. These are the first 12. There will be many more coming forth, but this is the fact that they own 25% of NPS. They account for 25% of NPS in India's banking system. Then next is center speeds up insolvency process. So under the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code of 2016, there is a National Company Law Tribunal established. There is also National Company Law Appellate Tribunal. Plus also there is a Debt Recovery Tribunal and Debt Recovery Appellate Tribunal. So National Company Law Tribunal is for companies, and Debt Recovery Tribunal is for individuals and even partnerships. So these two function all, and the appellate bodies also function under the domain, and they are administered by Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India. So this is also overseeing authority established under the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. So this board has now notified norms for fast-tracking insolvency resolution for specified category of corporate debtors. So these are actually small companies and startups. So what we saw in the previous news right now was 12 big defaulters who account for 25% of NPAs in the country's banking system. Now in this news, what we are seeing is another separate category of small companies, startups, other than partnership firms, or unlisted companies whose total assets not exceed 1 crore. So for such companies, if there are NPAs with respect to them, their resolution has to be done on a fast track basis. So generally we saw right now that it was 180 days in which the case has to be wrapped up. In this case, it has to be wrapped up within 90 days. So now the insolvency process norms have been notified by the IBBI. So this is the news here. So you can see the adjudicating authority will be appointed, and if it is satisfied, then the period can be extended from 90 to 45 more days. And for 180 days, it was 180 days plus 90 more days extension in special cases. So that is the case here. So this fast track process would be initiated. So this will be the interim resolution professionals who would be appointed, who would look into whether these debts can be resolved, or otherwise liquidation would be entered into. So this can be initiated by the creditor also, or even the corporate debtor. Either of them can file an application when there is a proof of existence of default. So then the adjudicating authority would be appointed, this interim resolution professional, and the resolution process would be initiated on a fast track basis. So this is important because India is ranked 136 out of 190 countries in the World Bank's ease of doing business, the doing business report, which comes out every year. We have seen this also again and again. So there are 10 indicators on the basis of which ranking is done. So in one of them is resolving insolvency. So on this also our rank is 136 out of 190. So we want to improve our ranking. So that is why this fast tracking process has been put into effect. Then the next news item, then this is the detail shown here about Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. So you can see it was a money bill introduced and passed in Lok Sabha in May 2016. So it will be time-bound resolution of bankruptcy which would take place. You can see 180 days generally how it would be done. Otherwise it would take 4 years to resolve bankruptcy. And this would also ensure, if it's quickened, it will ensure that productive assets are released quickly and they do not lose their value. Otherwise the assets also lose their value once the organization has gone bankrupt. So this is there. So it's also encouraged startups by allowing quick exits if they fail. So this is there. Then next is photosynthesis may help treat heart diseases study. So these Stanford scientists have found that blue-green algae and light which can trigger photosynthesis inside the heart can help treat cardiac diseases. So this was a study done on a condition called cardiac ischemia. So they have done this research on experiment on rats, and they found the results. So in cardiac ischemia, what happens is it's a coronary artery disease. So oxygen does not reach the heart. So there is a need for increasing the flow of oxygen to the heart. So what these researchers experimented with is that because there's a huge amount of carbon dioxide available, so carbon dioxide needs to be converted into oxygen. So we know who does this. Plants do it. They take in carbon dioxide and release oxygen during photosynthesis. So what they tried to do is bring in these chloroplasts into the plant to produce into the hearts. So near the hearts, but then they saw that they did not survive in those conditions. Then they also tried with bacteria. So photosynthetic bacteria also were tried, and finally the cyanobacteria or blue-green algae gave them results when they were triggered, light was provided to them, then photosynthesis was initiated, carbon dioxide taken in and oxygen released, and heart functioning improved. So this was seen. So even after the bacteria were no longer there, they dissipated within 24 hours, the cardiac functioning continued to be good for at least 4 weeks. So this is the result which they have received, and now they plan to investigate how this concept can be applied to humans, and also how to deliver light source to the human heart, plus also if there is artificial chloroplast which can be brought in, eliminating the need for bacteria in this case. So this experiment would be further taken now. And the last news item is second hottest May in 137 years, NASA. So May in 2017 was the second hottest year. 2016 May was the hottest year so far in 137 years since the modern record keeping of average global temperatures have started. So this is the report by NASA. So this is assembly of publicly available data acquired. So all publicly available data acquired through around 6,300 meteorological stations across the world, ship and buoy-based instruments, all measuring the sea surface temperature, Antarctic research stations. All these information, temperatures, input data coming forth is used to record and find out the temperatures here. So this is the NASA study which shows that May 2016 was the hottest and May 2017 was the second hottest since modern record keeping of average global temperatures has started. So this is the news. So these are the news items. Thank you.